Okay, we're finally in the final stretch. I'm going to deal with workshops 10 and 11 together because they're very much connected, and these weeks we're looking at the rights, powers and duties of personal representatives in succession law. So executors, who are the people who are nominated by a testator, or administrators, who are people who are appointed by the court, where there's intestacy or administrator's not appointed or it's not valid. We put them together, we call them personal representatives. Most of the reading, the 2 chapters are fairly short for the next 2 weeks, and I'm quite happy with that, because leading up to exams I don't want to be inundating you with a whole lot of new material. And these chapters, the set readings are quite straightforward. It's important you have an overview of all of this, and you have an idea of what powers they have, and how they things they can do, and particularly the indemnities, because given the rules under property law that you can't have a gap in property ownership, we end up in a situation where there's some going on behind the scenes. It's usually not relevant to anyone involved in the process, but there's some sort of complicated legal machinery about the transfer of property to the personal representatives, when it's transferred to them, how it's transferred to them, and how they have rights to deal with it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter for most situations. It just means that they have the entitlement to deal with the property as though they owned it themselves, subject to their legal duties. I guess where it does become important is if you have a personal representative who acts fraudulently, and you're worried about a third party. So if a personal representative acts fraudulently, generally what happens is the title will pass in the property. The third parties don't have to worry about that, but then the personal representative becomes liable under their statutory duties for what they do negligently or fraudulently, or so on. So anyway, read through all of those. Again, I don't think it's terribly challenging. It's not terribly exciting either. Sorry, I can't really add too much more to this to make it exciting. And I guess in the last 2 weeks of semester, you probably don't want it to be exciting. You want to just get on with it and get through to the end. In terms of the workshops, workshops 10, we're going to look to creating some guidelines for personal representatives as a collaborative activity, probably use a Google Doc to do it. And that's just so we can talk about, first of all, our understanding of those responsibilities, but also think about how we can explain those to non-legal clients. Because that's a really important part of the legal role. So when someone says, I've just been named an executor, what does that mean? To be able to say and explain to them in very simple terms what that means and what their responsibilities are. So that's workshop 10. And workshop 11 is about, it's a bit of a very, very simple, straightforward role play. And we're going to look at challenges to wills. So the material from the extra chapter on family provisions will become relevant there. And this is really more of an advocacy exercise, and to think about how you structure an argument. So again, the law itself is important as always, but here what I really want to start thinking about is how do you actually structure a particular argument in this case. And I'll put some scenarios up on Moodle beforehand so you can have a go at that. So we're almost there, almost at the end of term. And I'll see you in the workshop this week. Okay, bye.